Today's episode, we're going to talk about what an EPK is. It's an electronic press kit, and the importance of having one, and what is it for, and all the fun little details that you all want to know about. But as we get into that, Thanksgiving is on Thursday, a reflective time for most people on what they're thankful for. This last year has been a year of uh, challenges and heartache and things like that. I think most of you know. And started off last year with the news that my mom had a terminal brain disease, and she passed away at the beginning of February. And in August, I broke my leg, and it's just been a year of challenges and hurdles and things. I don't blame 2024. It just happened to be 2024 when the stuff happened. You know, when the New Year's resolution stuff comes along, you start seeing everybody saying screw 2024. Well, last year you said screw 2023, and the year before that you said screw 2022. I wouldn't say 2024 was all bad. I'm always moving forward with my drumming stuff, and that's a good thing. I think drumming for me is therapeutic also. I talked to a new drummer friend last night on the phone. His name is Nick Innick, who's a drummer. I think he lives in Nampa. I have not met him, only over Facebook, and we've heard of each other. And he's looking to build a drum studio at his house, and so he had a lot of questions because that's what I've done here. So we're gonna get together and hang out soon. But we were talking about how blessed we are to be drummers. I also had rehearsal with the Cliff Miller Band on last Wednesday night, and it was the first time I sat behind my bigger drum kit since the beginning of August. August 5th was my last rehearsal with Midline prior to the accident. And so last Wednesday was the first time I had sat back there. I had to remove my China cymbal on the right and my second floor tom to get that out of the way so I can actually I was able to get back there with it on, but then I couldn't get out. So I took those two things off and just left it that way. And then I had my double kick pedal set up so I could play bass drum with my left foot. I think we probably played through 10, 12 songs, and it went pretty good. It wasn't exactly the same because I opened my hi-hat for different things throughout the song, so I just have my hi-hat set closed. It worked out pretty well. I was really tired, though, by the end of that rehearsal, but it felt so good for my soul to play drums and to hang out with Cliff and with Alf. Alf is playing bass with us again for a few shows. Alf and I have always had a special connection musically and as friends. We've been buddies for 30 some years now. Great bass player and excellent to play with. I really love playing with that guy. Anyway, it was great. It was a good time, but I was tired, so I'm not in playing shape. I sit here and teach all day, but I don't play that much when I'm teaching, actually. I just, it's all about what my students can do and helping them. So I have little spurts where I will play, and a lot of times I'm just playing on a pad. I let them play the drums. So, yeah, I'm in shape to sit here. All right, so let's get into what is an EPK. Sometimes you hear these slang terms for music stuff, and not that EPK is a slang thing, but when I first heard what an EPK was, I was like, oh yeah, but in my head I had no idea that it stood for electronic press kit. So in the olden days, I'm sure some of my musician friends can relate. You would send a press kit to a venue or a management company or a record label or a radio station or whatever. We had these press kits. So and I've seen a lot of press kits, some that were really well put together, some that look like you took just papers like out of the trash and stuck them in a grocery sack and said, here you go. The midline press kit was a glossy black folder that had a really nice die cut midline sticker on there with our logo, at an 8x10 photo such as that inside of it, and a bio on the band, and then a lot, sometimes photocopies of news articles. And like when we were on the radio a lot, there would be you would get the playlist from the radio station, which would be reporting what songs they were playing, and the ranking of those songs, and so on. So that was a lot of the midline press kit back in the mid to late 90s had that. And then you'd mail them off. Sometimes you'd overnight packages and things like that, depending on how time sensitive the thing was we were working on. So that was a press kit. Well, now those have become less pop. It would have a CD in it too. And I know on a couple of occasions we mailed along a VHS tape of us playing as well. So those got bulky, and they got expensive to ship depending on where they were going. So now, in the age of technology and internet and social media and stuff like that, we do all of that electronically. So an electronic press kit is what an EPK is. Some people wonder if you need one, and what should it look like? What should the layout be? There's a few things to consider. One is just think about what you're interested in looking at, and does what you're interested in looking at match what you're putting out? Well, when you're putting them together, I would look at current band websites or their electronic press kit, or sometimes they're one and the same. For example, the band Primus posted last week, I think, that they were looking for a new drummer. And they kind of put this whole thing out, which I call it a cattle call. But I submitted my information anyway for Primus, and I did get an email back that said, Fred, we got your information. Thank you for sending that. We have a high volume of people that are interested in doing this, and our team of people is going to sift through all of this information that we're receiving. And if you get a call back, if we decide we're interested in you, you will be notified in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And that if you didn't hear back at all, that it doesn't even mean that you weren't good enough. It's just that they're receiving so many submissions that even if you were the guy, they might miss it because they don't have time to look at everything. So in those cases, you need to send them exactly what they're asking for, and to keep it short and to the point and not overwhelm them with too much stuff. So they wanted short bio, and they wanted to any video of you playing recently. They didn't specifically say video of you playing our songs or anything like that. So I sent them a 3-sentence bio, a link to my drumming website, and then a link to the most recent midline video. Well, not the most recent. I sent them Onward, which was the most recent original song from midline. So I sent those 3 things. I've seen people in the past send a long, drawn-out bio. I started playing drums when I was 3 years old, and my parents thought I had all this talent, and the first time I performed was when I was 7, and I was on the local news channel, and they don't want to know all of that. They want to know what you're doing right now. I think that I said something along the lines of, my name is Fred Fisher. I live in Boise, Idaho. I'm a professional drummer. I'm a drummer for a living. I'm interested in pursuing possibly being the next drummer for the band Primus. And I'm 52 years old, and I have an endorsement with Vader drumsticks and an endorsement with Aquarian drumheads. Look forward to talking. Or something. I think it was even shorter than that. But all in all, that's the information I gave them. And then on my website, the link to that which is a portal basically to all my social media stuff, and then the link to the midline video. So everything was just easy to see right there. There wasn't a long thing that they had to scroll through. No scrolling. So when people are submitting electronic press kits, what are we submitting electronic press kits for? A lot of times it's for getting a show. Maybe you want to open up for a national band or act or something like the Knitting Factory or the Revolution Concert House or the Tree Fort Music Hall, and wherever you're playing. So on your website or electronic press kit is give them the information they need that is clearly shows who you are and what you're about in the shortest way possible, so that they don't have to be digging and digging and digging. I wouldn't send them a separate link to Facebook and a separate link to Instagram and a separate link to YouTube. And if you have one link that you can send them to, and then from there they can go, they just want to click. They don't want to type a bunch of stuff in and be searching around. So for me, when I click on somebody's website or their press kit, I click on their website. Is it organized and clean and easy to read, or are there graphics overlaying things that they shouldn't? I saw a band had this. They put a picture of their band and they're on this big stage with lots of people, and then their band graphic is over the top of them. You don't even see them in the picture. I'm assuming it's a picture of them, but their graphic is right over the top of everybody in the band. You can't make out who anybody is. I think you see some feet and you see a lighting rig. I would probably lay that out different so that you could clearly see the band. But when you click on there, what's the first thing that we're doing? The first thing is we're using our eyes. It's what we see, and is that pleasant to look at, or is it super busy and all this? Like the Midline website, you click on it. It's really easy to see. It's very clear. It's mostly black and white website. And there's video of us playing right there. So you have some motion that's happening, but it's not this overwhelming, overstimulated thing that's happening. So I don't know if that's an age thing. Good morning, Greg. I don't know if that's an age thing, to be like overwhelmed by stuff moving and pop-up graphics, and that's the other thing, pop-up things. Like, don't have pop-up things. It's annoying. I look at these different music websites like like Sweetwater, Musician's Friend, and Guitar Center and things like that. You get the website going and you start typing in what you're looking for, and all of a sudden there's this pop-up thing like, do you accept cookies? That drives me crazy. And then here's a 5 or 10% discount on whatever you're looking for today. It's like, God, I'm clicking all this stuff away. I just want to go to what I'm interested in. And then if I go to the checkout, maybe that's where you have your offer to, I don't know. That's a Fred thing, I guess. Anyway, your electronic press kit, what's the first thing you see? Is it professional? And then do you hear anything playing? That would be like the second thing. Is there audio going along with your website, or is it completely silent? I think it'd be good to have some kind of audio embedded into your press kit, because then now they're hearing you. They don't have to go and click on something separate to go hear what you sound like. And then the other thing is your text. Is the text really easy to read, and can you read all the text without having to scroll through miles of stuff? We're in this quick society. Our attention spans are so short, and then we're on to the next thing. So if you send a bio that looks like it's really, really long, you don't even have to try to read it. You're like, it's going to take me 2 minutes to read all of that stuff, or it's going to take me 30 seconds to read all that stuff. Can you just look at it and get the information you need and be straight to the point as quick as possible? Tony says, but I hate audio when you can't find it to turn it off. Yeah, there's that too. there's that too. So if your audio is playing, it better be pretty spectacular. Or as you mentioned, Tony, can they turn it off? Is maybe there's like a little speaker icon on the screen somewhere where you could shut that off. Yeah. Um, so Tony, I think I agree with you in some of those things. You know, when you're scrolling through social media and you click on something you're interested in, is all of a sudden there's this loud volume. Uh, I like it when it's just silent, and if I'm interested in it enough, I'll turn on the audio. Got to have a mini player or something. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Good point, and I agree. So, your photos of your band or you, do they look pro? I've mentioned off and on over these live streaming podcasts I've done where I saw a band, they did their band photo in the backyard somewhere. The grass wasn't mowed. There's kids' toys and crap all over. And there's actually dog shit in the picture on the patio. Uh, and I don't think they were looking at what their environment was. And then they were dressed terrible too. They just looked like they were ready to start cleaning up the yard or something. But that was their band photo they were using for to promote their band. Uh, I don't know if somebody brought to their attention the things that were out of place, but don't don't use those kind of pictures. Oh man, yeah. S- Spend the effort and the time to get really great photos of your band put together, and um, you know, hiring a professional is sometimes a good idea because when you hire an actual photographer, they're thinking of these things that we typically may not think of. I've been a part of getting band photos taken for decades now, and so I think I have a pretty good grasp on what's happening. But sometimes I miss things too, and the guys I play music with are also pretty aware of these things that should be considered. So pro, 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 pro. Make everything as pro as possible. Uh, I mentioned keeping the information short and to the point. Nobody cares that you started drumming when you were 3 years old. Yeah. When I see band bios or individual musician bios that have this long, drawn out thing about, well, I was born at a very young age and I grew up in some corner of the world you've never heard of, and I took lessons playing guitar from this guy, and this guy was awesome. And then nobody, they just want to know what's happening right now. I'm not saying that information that you have from your beginnings is invalid because it helped create who you are now, but leave that for when you're being interviewed, and maybe even then maybe even then you don't even mention that. uh, People are mostly interested in what's happening right now, what's happening today, um, not what happened, decades ago. So keep that in mind. I would definitely keep that in mind. Let's see. Make sure that your information on your website is current and up to date. And I would say that goes for your social media stuff too. Because if you have a website that's also your electronic press kit and you're sending that out, and it takes maybe that person that's checking out your band, let's say that their favorite platform is Instagram, and they go to your Instagram page and you haven't made a post on there in months. That means there's no engagement happening with an audience. They might go, I don't know, these guys aren't uh, really into being current. So make sure you're posting regularly on your social medias things. I know some people just roll their eyes and grunt and moan and groan. Oh, I have to make a post on this thing that's going to take me 5 minutes. Spend the 5 minutes, make the post. So stay current so that when somebody's looking up your stuff, they go, oh, look at this cool thing they did today, and look at this cool thing they did last week, and look at the kind of engagement they're getting. So that that might go back to what Landon was saying about the live TikTok videos, is getting all this streaming and and then TikTok's is paying them for doing this thing. They're holding people, their captive audience on their live stream. So that's what you want to do. You want to be able to not only get somebody's attention but hold their attention and have them go, yeah, I'm interested in this person or this band or what they're doing. So I do think that those numbers do matter. So make sure that your social media stuff is up to date, and if it's not, get on it. Get on it. Make something happen. You can you can recirculate older posts too, like, you know, not not a not something that was time sensitive, but maybe you released a song 3 months ago and you haven't talked about it in a while. You could repost that kind of stuff. So that's a good thing to do, is recycle some of your older material. Plus, you should always have a new audience or new people coming on board, and you don't want to lose people, but those new people coming on board sometimes haven't seen those older posts. So it's good to recycle those. It's a good thing. Let's see. Easy to navigate. The layout needs to work not only for desktop computers, but make sure that your website also works on mobile devices. These things. You know, your website can look one way on the computer, and then if it's not also formatted for mobile devices, it's going to be a complete wreck. And I think more often than not, we're looking at things online with this in our hand rather than the computer, because this seems to travel with everybody wherever they go. So make sure that your stuff is formatted for mobile device as well as your desktop. You don't want them to open up this thing and it's just like, I can't even find where to navigate. Make sure, as far as navigating goes, make sure that those are easy to find. Your drop down menus or they're labeled or something. You know, I think we're all trained well enough in this day and age to kind of figure that out pretty quickly, but make it obvious. Make it obvious. I talked about band logos several weeks ago, and talking about metal bands that their band logo or the way that they write their band name looks like it's spaghetti. It's just, or it looks like branches of a tree. It's really hard to figure out what you're trying to read. Make it simple. Make it simple and make it stand out, so that, you know, it's your business card. It's your business card. How important is it to you getting this opening slot for, I don't know, say Queensryche's coming to town and your band wants to open for Queensryche. Queensryche doesn't know who you are. The venue people might know who you are because they're local, but the talent buyer might say, hey, Queensryche management wants to know something about you guys. Send over your press kit or your links to your social media or whatever they're asking for. Give them that. Okay, that's the first thing. But when they get your website, they want to look at it. They're probably annoyed they have to look at anything even to begin with, because they've got other stuff to do. So make sure that when they click the link, it works and it takes them exactly where they need to go. They can see you, they can hear you, they can read a short little thing about you. And if they make it that far, they click on your social media pages and they go, oh, 4 people are following this band, or 4,000 people are following this band. You know, if you have a few thousand people following your band, or several hundred, they're going to go, oh, maybe a few people actually know these, and that will help the show be a success, rather than, oh, they have 12 followers and they haven't posted anything on Instagram in the last 6 months. That might tell that person you're not really active in what you're doing, or that you don't care. It could be both. So it's what's important to you. What's important to you. I think the big thing that I underlined was making sure that your website works for your mobile device as well as your laptop. Yeah, because if tour manager or is looking at your stuff and they're on their phone and they click your website and it's a jumbled mess, they're gonna click away from it immediately. Like, they don't have time. I'm assuming they don't have time to try to decipher what was just sent to them or go, oh, it doesn't work on this, let me grab my laptop. Probably not going to happen. They want to look and make a decision really, really quick. And if the talent buyer sent them 3 bands and maybe you were the most obvious choice, but your website was garbage, they're on to the next band. They don't care. They don't have that much time. They just want to know, is this band going to help make the show successful, yes or no? You got to be able to answer those questions really, really quickly. So make sure you're presenting yourself in the best way possible. If you have a picture of your band and you're using that for your promo shot, like your band's playing live, but it doesn't show any kind of an audience or a very sparse audience, either don't use that picture or get more creative in cropping that picture so that the focus is on the band and the focus isn't so far away that they go, oh, there's only 20 people watching this band. Better, though, if you have a packed venue and you can have a picture like that. Here we are playing live and there's a lot of people watching. That's a good way to present yourself, not to a bunch of empty tables and chairs or an empty dance floor or what have you. How we present ourselves is really, really important to getting the job. Getting the job. I mentioned Primus as an example of something that came along that I wasn't looking for that. Just suddenly Primus put out this post from their page saying, hey, we're looking for a drummer. If you think you got what it takes, so to speak, send this information to this website. It was really, really clear. And then I got tagged by 4 or 5 different people in there, and then I had several people send that to me, like through Facebook Messenger or text me, suggesting that I turn in my information. So here, I think this is a really good example. My website and everything was already ready to be able to just go, oh, they want this information, here you go. So it was ready. I didn't have to suddenly be faced with I have to create something in a panic in order to be ready to go. So all my stuff was already up to date, ready to go. I just had to send it. But here's where some people get confused on what they should do. It was very, very clear in their post. If you, more or less, they said, if you have what it takes, send this information to this website. The amount of drummers who put their information in the comments of that post, I think, are confused on what's happening. Oh, hey, Primus, I'm a drummer in Kansas, and here's 85 links to all these things that I've done in the past. First of all, I highly doubt that Les Claypool or anybody else in Primus made that post. Their management probably made that post, and they gave you instructions on what to do, and you didn't follow those instructions to start with. That's just bad. That's just bad. Brandon, dude, how are you? Primus does rule. I agree. Brandon Fields, people, if you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay, go follow Brandon, who's an incredible guitar player. And I've been following Brandon for a little while because he, too, has been to the school of Matt Starr. And Brandon has a Guns N' Roses tribute band called Pretty Tied Up. And my drummer buddy, Trey Bledsoe, is out on tour with Brandon playing drums for Pretty Tied Up. It's pretty awesome. They sound amazing. Every video, Brandon, I've seen of you guys playing is really, really, really good. So when it comes to tribute bands, Brandon's got it happening. James says, makes me wonder if Primus is going to do a Dream Theater type of scenario and film their finalists would really generate interest in the band before touring. Yeah, I agree, James. That would probably be a good idea for them to be able to do that. And uh, Brandon, you are welcome, and it's well deserved, man. Sincerely. Brandon said the same thing happened this summer when I posted about hiring a drummer and guitarist. Specifically said, do not DM me and to email, and got probably 50 DMs. Yeah, and I just think that speaks to a way of thinking and a way of being professional, Brandon, that gets missed so often. It's like, if I can't speak to the business side of what Brandon does, okay? I cannot. I'm not in the circle. I can imagine what he does because of who our mentors are. However, just like Brandon said, he needed a drummer for this tour, and if interested, do these things. And then specifically said, do not DM me. And then that's exactly what people did, apparently. Follow the instructions, word for word. Just like just like I said, Primus said, if you're interested, send this information. They were very specific on send this kind of information to this website. And I've seen Primus tagged over and over and over again over the last week of drummers who look like they got in a panic and they did a drum cover of a Primus song somewhere, and then they're posting that. You guys realize they asked you to send that in an email, right? Not do a video of playing one of our songs and tag us in it. No, they didn't say to do that. Do exactly what's being requested if you're interested. That's how that works. Don't do all this other thing thinking that you're being clever or that being annoying is going to get you the job. No, being professional is what's going to get you the job. Yeah, Brandon says, I promise you I hired 0 of those people who DM me. Yeah, so Brandon, I'm sure, yeah, they didn't follow the instructions, man. They didn't do what you asked. Just if somebody's really interested in I think that's what helps separate the pros is they can follow instructions, right? Oh, man, just be cool to hang out with, be awesome at your instrument, and follow the instructions. It's so easy. I don't know why people think it's complicated. It's not complicated. Not complicated at all. And hey, Brandon, I don't know if your search for a drummer had happened prior to my accident or after, but having a broken leg will slow you down. So I myself, whenever that came along, I didn't send you any information because of my situation. But the moment I saw that Trey had been suggested by people, I thought that guy's going to get the gig because Trey is awesome. Brandon says that they can't follow instructions over a text. I can't imagine living in a van with them for 2 weeks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, you just want to be surrounded by pros. And Brandon, thank you for sharing that story too, because that's a clear example of being ready and how to conduct yourself and to move forward with what you're trying to do. Definitely for sure. So I don't know what to expect from the Primus camp, and I can't worry about that. They asked for specific information. I did exactly as instructed, so that when they open that email, they're not scrolling through everything. Everything's right there, easy to navigate and understand. Brandon says I've been wanting to jam with Trey a long time, and it happened to be he lives 45 minutes from you. Oh, now that's awesome and that's convenient. David Rose, dude, I haven't heard from you in a long time. I hope you're doing great. My morning's going pretty well, and I know you just jumped in here, but I'm about to wrap it up. So there's the replay option there, David. Um, David, I haven't seen. Man, I now that I've seen you pop up, I'm gonna have to dig in a little bit. I don't know if you've been playing, if you got a band going. I don't know what your situation is, so I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to catch up. All right, that's my suggestions, my opinions on your electronic press kit slash website, and making sure that that stuff is so clear and easy to understand, easy to navigate. Um, Make it easy for people to go, you're the guy. You're the person I need. Make it easy for them to realize that. Don't overwhelm them with things they didn't ask for. And to Brandon's point, when you're traveling in the van or the tour bus or whatever your mode of transportation is, you're going to be spending a lot of time with those people. And if they want to hear about you started playing your instrument when you were 3 years old, then that's your opportunity. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. David says, I know it's been a hot minute. Saw the title of the live, so I had to hop on. Yeah, man. I'm just sharing information based on my own experiences and thoughts. And, several weeks ago, I asked people, what would you like me to talk about? And EPK was one of them. So if you guys, James says, best wishes, Christian. Great that he found a WGI group to travel with. Yeah. James, he got super, super motivated for this this being his last winter to do indoor. He got really, really motivated. I don't know if you know James, but he he auditioned for Broken City, which is in the LA area, and he's taking lessons from, you would know him, or at least know of him. Why can't I think of his name? I am drawing a blank. He's the instructor for Broken City. James, he's the guy that when you see the lot warm-ups going, he's playing the drum set along with the metronome. Roger Carter. I think that's it. Roger Carter. I think I'm right. James, he's been taking lessons from Roger Carter online. And the main reason is so that Christian can be a better instructor himself. And I thought that was really cool that he continued on with that, even though he didn't make it. Yeah, with Broken City. The wind didn't go out of his sails. He said, if I don't make Broken City, I'm gonna go for Blue Nights, and that's what he did. Went to 2 audition camps and he got contracted. So very cool of my son to be doing that. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. Brandon, good luck with the rest of your tour. I really enjoy the videos of seeing those clips of the band live. It's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I don't know where you found the singer, but he's great. I played with a band for a short while called Redstone, and we opened up for Steven Adler. That was in the summer of 2019. Yes, because this was pre-COVID when this happened, and met those guys. I just remember, well, of course, meeting Steven Adler, and then the bass player Tanya, who is playing bass for Whitesnake now, and she's pretty awesome. And yeah. Anyway, just major kudos to Brandon for doing his thing, because it's awesome. All right, guys, thanks for hanging. I appreciate it. If you got stuff you'd like me to talk about, just drop them in the comments or send me a message. I like having that direction. And Landon, if you're still here, or I can message you, I do need to have a better education in the land of TikTok. All right, guys, have an awesome day, and we'll see you next week. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Gary. Gary, I think you moved to Napa, so we're going to have to figure out this coffee thing. And I'm hoping after the first of the year I'll be walking normally, and I'll be able to drive again, too. That's the other thing. I haven't been able to drive anywhere myself in 4 months. uh, I'm near the end, people, of this recovery thing, and I'm very excited about it. So have an awesome day. Happy Thanksgiving, my friends, and we'll see you next week.